Hi everybody, welcome to another Taubmans live colour session. My name's Fiona, I'm a Taubmans colour specialist and we are here tonight to talk all things colour. It's our second one back for the year, so fantastic to be back behind the seat to help everybody out there with all of their colour conundrums. Not only do we talk about colour though, it's an opportunity for you to share any projects that you are embarking on, and we're certainly here to offer advice. And also we have a magnificent portfolio of products available to help protect and beautify your space. So you've come to the right place for everything colour, product, project. Okay, I'll quickly run through how the sessions sort of go. So I'm in front of the camera for the next half an hour while we're streaming. It's really fantastic. If you want to take the opportunity, upload any questions that you do have into the feed, and I will certainly do my best to answer them for you. If you do have any images or photos of areas that you would like some assistance with colour, etc. on, please hold off until we finish streaming because while I'm on air, it's very hard for you to upload, or actually it's impossible to upload any photos into our feed. So once we conclude streaming, I'm usually behind the scenes here for another half an hour or longer, depending on how many questions I have to answer. And I'll certainly then be able to have a look at the images that you submit and offer some suggestions. So tonight is all about frequently asked questions. So we've had quite a long break over the Christmas New Year period. As I said, this is our second session back. And during that time, we've had quite a few questions coming through, asking in regards to colour advice, project, product, etc. So I've gone through the feeds. We find all of our questions, if you like, through our social media channels, through a lot of private messages that are inboxed to us, etc. And so we go through the feed, we find all of the recurring questions, and we like to bring them to life in these sessions. So I do have quite a few questions here that I will attempt to sort of answer while I'm here tonight. I do have, hi Nicole, I can see that you are here. Thank you very much for joining us again. If you've got any questions, please pop them into the feed and I'll be very happy to assist you. So the first one is a fantastic question, and it seems to be we're getting a lot of queries about it, and it's certainly, you know, it's the talk at the moment, what colours are going to be trending this season. So there's lots of things happening, and to be honest, I've spent the last few days going through the 2024 global colour forecast, having a look at the trends, etc., that are sort of evolving. And look, it's fantastic. It's been amazing to see what's happening sort of globally and within each region. But there seems to be sort of a commonality and, you know, an overarching theme that it's sort of about connecting us to nature. That tends to sort of evolve through a lot of these colour forecasts that I've been looking at, and there's some beautiful sort of rich earthy tones that are we're going to see a lot more of. Some beautiful, I've got lots of notes here so you can see me just making sure I don't go off track. Some beautiful rich earthy hues, warm browns, caramels, sort of nougat tones if you like as well, sort of some burnt siennas, aged wine tones, beautiful rich baked clay tones as well, pinks and greens. There's just some amazing colours that we'll see sort of coming through for interiors. You'll see sort of all of these sort of colours sort of being recommended for wall colours for sure, and also you'll start to see trends happening when we talk about interiors. Trends usually occur with, you know, your soft furnishings, accessories, all of that sort of stuff comes into play. So it's really exciting, and I do think that the colours moving forward are fantastic. But I also want to bring to life and remind you that we do have our 2022 to 2024 colour forecast, Chromatic Joy, and there are some magnificent colours in that. And I think the colours that are in that we're going to see being used for many seasons moving forward as well, because a lot of the colours in here are what's being talked about as being the on-trend colours for the seasons sort of that will be happening, if you like. But I do have a magazine, so the best way you can view and have a look at our fantastic colours online, so you can visit Taubmans, www.taubmans.com.au, and go through the web. All the colours are on there. Certainly the colour forecast is as well, but we also have the Taubmans Colour Together magazine, and within that you'll see, I'm just going to find some of the colours and the colour forecast. Like, you'll see the most beautiful tones, colours that exist within this. Very much on trend and will be for, you know, seasons moving forward as well. Beautiful, beautiful greens. And then even like fantastic blues, blue greens. And I know that a lot of people do tend to query about what sort of colours they can use for a coastal environment, you know, / Hamptons, etc. And we always talk about the beautiful whites that work extremely well for that sort of style that you're wanting to bring to life, as do greys and blues, etc. So you'll find if you are on a colour journey and you're you know, beginning your journey and you're not sure where to start, this is the best place to start. And there are also some magnificent whites within the magazine itself as well. Now let me just find the whites. I should have been a little bit more organised and had them marked out, shouldn't I? Anyhow, that's what happens when you're live. Here we go. Here we go. Here's some of the beautiful whites here as well. You'll find in the magazine there are trends that we have. So we've got our Scandi and our Bold, and also we do have our Hamptons and our Contemporary as well. So really good place to start. And as I mentioned in the magazine are the trends, but we also have here the Taubmans trends as well. And this is a fantastic piece of colour collateral or a colour brochure that can certainly assist with all things colour, and a really good starting point if you are embarking on your journey and you're looking at doing coastal Hamptons, etc. You'll find something in there, and I really do. I'm going to actually shout out a colour here. I think that the third colour along, called West Hampton Dunes, is fabulous. And if you are doing a Hampton style colour scheme, certainly have a look at that. I've been recommending that colour quite a bit of late. And when you actually, the best way, and I talk about this every week, is when you are looking at colour, remember to get yourself a sample pot, a large piece of cardboard. You're wanting at least 1 metre by 1 metre square. You can put 2, but I always say go 3 coats onto the cardboard, and that way you're going to make sure that the cardboard is completely covered, etc. Especially if you're using just like a mini sample brush roller, or a mini roller. And if you're just putting it on, it ensures that you're going to get adequate coverage, and you're really going to be able to see how the colour is going to work within the environment. So a sample pot, a sample piece of cardboard, 1 metre by 1 metre square. If you're trialling your colour outside, the best area to trial it is in full sun, and also in areas that lack a lot of natural light, and that way you'll see how the colour performs when it is in full sun. Because when we're talking about whites, and I say this every week, and I have many conversations around white and how it performs on an exterior application, it has a tendency to, I use the terminology, to bleach out. So, you know, when sun is on something, it can appear lighter, and that's what can happen with whites. So it's really good to trial to ensure that it's not going to be too glary and that it has enough substance within the colour. So, and interior, same again, sample pot all the way, your 1 metre by 1 metre square piece of cardboard. You're trialling it inside under the artificial lighting, so the light that you have, and then also in daylight up near the ceiling. So where you've got your ceiling and your wall where it meets, you're popping your piece of cardboard up there. That way you're going to be able to see how it's going to work in the different lights. And also where you've got your floor and you've got your wall, you're going to put your piece of cardboard just down here. And that way you get to see if, for example, if you have beautiful, you know, wooden floorboards that have a beautiful, something like a Baltic sort of floor that has real golden sort of hues to it, it's going to allow you to see how the colour is going to be, I suppose, influenced by its surrounds. So flooring, etc., can influence a wall colour, as can your furnishing. So if you've got a red leather lounge, etc., that can also influence. So it's really important just to trial it so that you're not disappointed with how the colour is going to look. That's the best tip that I can give you, and I recommend that every single session, and probably too many times, but I just like to reiterate that it's really important. Okay, so what whites would you recommend for a new build that are on trend and work with travertine that is yellow based, not grey or pink? I'm glad you've sort of told me the tone of your travertine, because as you know, as you've said there, you've got your grey, you've got your pink, and then you've got more of your yellow based travertine. So we're working with a yellow based travertine. I think it's really important to pick up the undertone of the travertine itself. So you're wanting to find a white that's going to be tonally correct. And so I'm finding from looking at all the trends that are happening and evolving, if you like, because a trend just doesn't, a trend sort of evolves over time. And so we're starting to see that there is more of a lean towards whites that are probably, I guess I could say, a little bit warmer. So a fantastic white that is going to work in that environment, sitting up alongside your travertine, is Taubmans Aria Ivory or Taubmans White Smoke. Now, I will find them on my screen, but something that you do need to be aware of is that my screen itself, I guess depending on what you're viewing, and depending on, because obviously all screens have different pixelations that will then throw different colors. So it's going to be indicative what you're seeing at home, and I would suggest going into your local paint store, Bunnings, or one of your local hardware stores, Taubmans Trade Centre, and viewing the color or trialing a sample pot. Okay, so let me just swap screens and hope that it all works. Beautiful, I'm up in the corner. Fantastic. Okay, so we are now at taubmans.com.au, and when you pop that into your search engine, you're going to come to the landing page or the home page that looks like this, what's appearing on your screen. So there's quite a few different things you can do from here, but the one thing that we're going to do now is we are going to search for color. So if we hit the drop down menu, we hover over colors and then we go to paint colors. It's just going to take a moment, and then we scroll down. You can see the fantastic thing about our website is that the colors are grouped by family, so it makes it very easy to start your color journey if you like. So you can search here, but what I like to do is to continue scrolling down. Look, you've got a color visualizer. So this is actually a really good tool. I'll quickly touch on this to help you see how the color could potentially look within your space. You can utilize the color visualizer. It is inbuilt with all pre-programmed with images. So there are some images of lifestyle images of certain zones within your dwelling, and you can click on those, click on the color, and then you can start to visualize or imagine how the color is going to look within your space. So that's a really good tool to use. As I mentioned before, Chromatic Joy, which is our 2022 to 2024 colour forecast. You can shop the collection there along with the magazine that I held up. But I'm coming down to here, which is our brush out centre. And the reason I'm going here is because it houses a lot of colours, and you can guarantee that if you can't find the colour that you're looking for at the first spot that I showed you where the colours are grouped by family, if you scroll down and come here, guarantee that you will. So I'm going to just click on here. It takes us to the PPG brush out center, and I'll click down here, and I use this function here. So if I just type in the color, which is Aria Ivory, here we go. It's the second color along. Here we go, and I'll click on that. And it brings the colour up here. This is a beautiful colour, and I do think that utilising this colour with the beautiful sort of yellowy toned travertine, I think they sing together really, really well. And you could, if you wanted to, with the colour for your doors and trims, you could just utilise the same colour, but obviously using the appropriate product. Like for your walls, you'd use something like Taubmans Endure in a low sheen or a matte, depending on the finish that you prefer. And for your doors and trims, a water-based enamel. And the reason I say water-based enamel is the fact that it is non-yellowing, so it's going to stay true to colour. So you could certainly use a water-based enamel and have it tinted to the same colour. Or if you really want the colour to pop, I would suggest using white for your doors and trims, which is going to, I guess you could say, put a white outline around the wall colour, so to speak, and allow that colour to really come to life. So that's one of the colours that I would recommend. There is another colour that we'll also search for while we're here, which is called White Smoke. Oops, good if I can get that to work. Let's go again. Here we go, third one across. Beautiful. They look similar, and they are similar. There is enough of a difference though when you actually put the colours next to each other. But again, a beautiful colour that will certainly work extremely well with travertine. So that would be my recommendation. Okay, I will come back onto the screen now. Take myself out of the corner. Okay, beautiful. All right, so sorry, Nicole, there is a question from you. I do apologise. All I saw originally was, hey there, it's me again. So I'm still tossing up on exterior colours. Last week you spoke about LRV values for white exteriors. Could you tell me how this works if you use half strength colour? I'm thinking of going surf mist roof, half strength surf mist cladding and Dover white garage door. Thoughts on this for coastal look Hamptons? I'm so nervous. Okay, so if you were to dial down surf mist, okay, for me, just to give you a half strength colour, if I'm just making something, I guess all colours that we have that exist within a library have an LRV, a light reflectance value, as do all colours that we create with Colorsmith. So something that you could do is, if you do have a sample of the colour that you're wanting to use, you could scan it with your Colorsmith, with the Colorsmith reader, and lessen the intensity, so dial down the intensity of the colour and then look for an LRV there. However, what I could do is look at a colour that's going to be my interpretation of something that would be half strength, and I do believe that, let me just have a look here. I could probably find something, sorry, again, live. So there is, you know, something that would be very close to, what do we say? Is that a matte? Let me just get my, something that may look very, okay, so tonally correct is what I'm looking at. And there's a colour, when I look on my fan deck, I've got a colour called Grey Matter that looks very similar to Surf Mist, and it's quite tonally correct. If I look to lighten Grey Matter, I'm brought up to a colour that looks like South Pole, and I'm looking at these colours. So Dover white against that, I don't know whether there's going to be enough of a contrast when you're going to have, so sorry, I'm looking at this. I might just pop it up on the screen so that everyone can see what I'm talking about. I don't know what you can, so I've got Surf Mist Dover white, and then I have a colour there called South Pole. However, I'm not sure if there's enough of a variance between the Dover white and the South Pole, whether there's enough of a clean line for it to really stand out. So I guess my question to you, Nicole, would be, have you trialled Surf Mist full strength, so just a standard Surf Mist, got yourself a sample pot of it and trialled it outside in full sun to see how the colour lightens up? Have you given this a try first? That would be something, if you can come back to me and just let me know a little bit more. Because I guess I can't give you an overall LRV for half strength Surf Mist, so to speak, but you could certainly trial it and see how it's going to perform outside. And I would recommend in this instance Again, and I know I refer to a sample pot a lot, but certainly trialing it to see how it works within your environment, especially in full sun. That would be the best advice that I could give you. I know I'm sort of going around and around, but I'm thinking as I'm talking. That's what I would recommend, but certainly put something else into the feed. Happy to talk to you further about this. Thanks. Okay, so creating a modern coastal home and want a light mid-tone colour for exterior walls that need to go with ColourBond Dover White. Not sure whether to go warm or cool. That's a really good question. Dover White is a beautiful colour that's recently been introduced by ColourBond. And you can see it there. I do have a sample here. It's certainly a colour that is trending, and a lot of people are tending to use this colour. So I've had a look, and there's a few colours that work extremely well depending on the way that you wish to go about it. So I've found Taubmans Stone Patino works extremely well, Taubmans Siberian Husky as well, along with Lunar Rock and Windsor. Now there's 4 tones there, completely different from each other, but certainly something that would, when put up against Dover White, would work extremely well. So I'll bring the colours up onto the screen. Again, like we did before, I'll just pop myself up in the corner. Fantastic. Okay, so we'll get rid of white smoke. Now this time around, I'm going to put Stone Patino. Here we go, it's on the end there, which is a beautiful colour. Look at that. It certainly works and sits really well with Dover White. So it does tend to have a little bit of substance to it. Obviously, when you use it in an exterior application, it's going to appear lighter, but it is beautiful and it sits extremely well. The next colour that I'll bring up on the screen. Oh my goodness. We'll go again. Is Siberian Husky. Again, a beautiful warm toned. It sort of sits within the realms of being a greige. So you've heard me talk about greys and the varying undertones with grey. So you have sort of a blue-based grey, a brown-based grey, which I refer to as a greige, and then you have a red or a purple-toned grey, and you also have a green-based grey. For me personally, when I'm helping consumers with grey, I usually guide them to first have a look at a green-based grey, because it's what I would define as a neutral colour, and it tends to work extremely well within many environments and with many other colours. So you can pair lots of colours with it with ease. So looking at the Siberian Husky, it sits on the realms of being that greige. It is beautiful. Popping it against Dover White, they again work extremely well together. I also have another one here to show you. I'm just looking at the time because I do have a tendency to talk a lot. Oops, where did we go? We'll go again. Okay, here we go, Lunar Rock. Again, looks similar, probably has more of a, as I was referring to a moment ago about neutral tones, tends to have a little bit more of that slight green undertone, but again, sits extremely well. And the last colour that I will show you is a colour called Windsor. Okay, it doesn't want to come up. Oh, let's hope it's down here. Yeah, here we go. Again, more of a blue-based grey, if you like, but again, when you sit it next to Dover White, it just sings. It is beautiful. So there's a few. I'll come back off the screen. There are a few colours that you can start to build a beautiful colour palette from. Create your own flat lay. As I've just told you, they work extremely well. Okay. Hi Nicole, thank you very much for coming back to me. Okay, so I have Surf Mist roof locked in with Builder, fantastic, and Dover White garage door locked in, beautiful. I was scared full strength Surf Mist cladding would look too same with the roof. Want a light and fresh breezy look, whitewash feel. To be honest with you, I'll be honest, I have Surf Mist on my home, on the exterior of my home, and I, as you probably all know, I'm based in Queensland, so we get lots and lots of sun. And the Surf Mist at home on my exterior looks very white and it looks beautiful. So I don't think, to be honest with you, that it's going to look too much the same. I think you're going to get that really beautiful whitewash feel, but bearing in mind that Surf Mist, when it is put into full sun, does tend to, or all whites tend to, wash out, bleach out. So I'd certainly recommend trialing it via a sample pot and putting it out in full sun so that you can see what I'm talking about. But I'm happy to also, when I finish streaming in a moment, to have another look and see if there are any other whites that I can suggest for you. And Nicole, I'll pop them into the feed for you. So, because there probably are some other whites that I can certainly offer some suggestions that, and bear in mind that I understand how they're going to work in an exterior application. So I will come back to you because there's quite a few here that I think I could recommend, but I just want to make sure that I'll get the actual sample of Dover white cladding, etc. out and just have a play around for you. So check the feed, won't be long and I'll pop something in there for you. Thank you. My last question that I've probably got time for tonight is, what front door colours do you recommend for coastal Hamptons to suit a soft white grey scheme? We really like blue-green tones but want a very light colour. Fantastic. So there are some beautiful colours that are trending and there are some fantastic tones being used for front doors, and there's a couple that I really love and I think they're very reminiscent of that coastal feel, but light enough to still be fun and add just that little bit of zing or pop of colour. So there are a couple of colours. I'd certainly recommend you have a look at a colour called Springtide and also Pale Sea Spray. So I'm going to bring them up onto the screen and let's have a quick look. Rightio, where are we? Oops, I better just change the screen so you can see what I'm doing here. Pop myself in the corner. Fantastic. Okay, so let's have a look at Springtide. Okay, it should be down there. I love this. This colour is fantastic. And I must admit that recently I went for a drive and I found this street and it is called Combi Lane. And I love the name. I certainly have fond memories of travelling around with my husband now in a combi many years ago. But I went down this street and the facades are just fantastic and they really embrace coastal beach life, if you like, and the colours used were just so magical. And this sort of style colour was used on the whole exterior of a dwelling and it just looked fabulous. So Springtide is certainly a colour that I would recommend, and there is another one as well that I will quickly show you. What have I got? Pale Sea Spray. Oh my goodness. Rightio. Oops, maybe not. Maybe we'll just go back. All right, maybe it's just me who's made a, oops. Where am I? Oh, here we go. Have a look at that colour as well. I mean, they look, when that comes up on the screen compared to what I just showed, looks very similar, but there is enough of a difference. One tends to be a little bit a little bit more on the blue side and the other one a little bit more on the green side, but equally as fantastic as each other, and certainly colours that really embrace that coastal sort of Hamptons feel. So these are my two picks for front doors for the moment. Beautiful, beautiful colours, and would certainly, I'll come back off the screen, would look fantastic glossed up. Now the best way, I'll give you one more tip, if you are looking at colours and you're wanting to sort of visualise how it's going to look with a gloss finish, get yourself a colour chip, or the colour chip, put clear sticky tape down half the side and just make sure you flatten it out so there's no air bubbles or anything. And when you move the colour chip around from side to side, you can really see the difference with the glossy side as opposed to just the low sheen side. So when you're using colours as I just showed you on the screen for front doors, I think that glossing them up is the way to go. It really looks fantastic. Okay, well that concludes our session tonight. As I said, I will be not in front of the camera, but behind the scenes here for the next half an hour or so to answer any further questions that you do have, whether it be around about colour, products, projects, etc. So certainly use it as an opportunity to get some fantastic colour options. So as I said, I'll be there for the next half an hour, but I will conclude this evening, and I'd really like to thank you all for joining us again. It was fantastic to have you here with us again tonight, and again next week, same time, same place, and we certainly will be back to talk all things colour. Until then, have a fantastic week, everybody. Stay safe, and as I always say, happy painting. See you later.